Hello everyone, in today's tutorial we're going to be going over how to perform a pop 360 roundhouse kick in Taekwondo. I do recommend you understand how to perform a roundhouse kick and a tornado kick before attempting this kick. Additionally, be sure to warm up and loosen before attempting any of these kick progressions. I'm going to show you 5 different breakdowns today. Let's go ahead and get started with breakdown number 1, which has 7 steps in it. So make sure you start in a very clear fighting stance whenever you're starting to learn a new kick. I'm going to be kicking with my right leg, so I want to start with that leg in the front. So real quick, the difference between a tornado kick and a pop 360 roundhouse kick is that in a pop 360, the jump occurs before the rotation. In a tornado kick, I would actually rotate first, and then I would jump. So that's the difference between a tornado kick and a pop 360 roundhouse kick. Okay, so for step number 1, for a pop 360, I'm going to switch my legs. However, I'm going to think about switching over my rear shoulder, just like this. So I'm going to switch over my rear shoulder and spot my target again. Step number 2 is going to be another switch over that same shoulder. All right, so I switched over my left shoulder the first time. Now that left shoulder's in front, I'm going to do a second switch. So step number 2, switch again, just like this. On that second switch, have your hips and shoulders positioned a little more forward, because that next step, step number 3, is going to be a knee up. So step 3, knee up. And then from here, this is why I recommend watching our roundhouse kick tutorial. All of the technique past this point is just standard roundhouse kick technique. So from here, step number 4 is going to be turn. I'm going to turn on my standing foot on the ball of my foot, so I face the toes behind me. Turn. Try to turn over your hips as much as you can. That will help you with the rotation later on. And step number 5 is going to be kick. Fully extend that leg out as much as you can. Point your foot, so I'm striking with the instep of my foot. Step number 6 is going to be pull back. So try to have as much retraction in your kick as you can. And then step number 7 is going to be recover and set it down just like that. So let's go through those 7 steps again for breakdown number 1. Start in a very clear fighting stance. We're going to go over what your legs should be doing, how you should position your arms, your posture, and where you should look for this kick a little later on before that final version of the kick. So don't worry too much about that. So step 1, switch over your rear shoulder. Spot your target again. Step number 2, switch over that left shoulder. Now it's your front shoulder. Switch. Remember, hips and shoulders a little more forward after that switch. Step number 3, knees straight up. I already have my foot pointed, ready for the kick. Step number 4 is going to be pivot, so I turn my hips and shoulders over. Step number 5, kick, extend your leg. Step number 6, pull back. And step number 7, down. As you get better with this breakdown, be sure to decrease the amount of time in between each step, just like this. Switch, switch, knee up, turn, kick, pull back, and set it down. Let's go ahead and move on to breakdown number 2, which has 6 steps in it. So step number 1, switch, turning over my rear shoulder. Step number 2, we're going to switch our legs and raise our rear leg up or our kicking leg up into that knee up position. So I'm going to switch my legs and jump, raise my knee up. And then from here, let's go through the rest of the steps. 3, pivot. 4, kick. 5, pull back. And 6, down. So for this breakdown, all we're doing is combining that second switch and the knee up. Switch. Switch knee. Turn. Kick. Pull back. And down. Next, let's go ahead and move on to breakdown number 3, which only has 3 steps in it. So we're still going to stop after that first switch. So step number 1 for this breakdown, turn over the rear shoulder, switch. Now, I'm going to switch, raise my knee straight up first, and then after I raise my knee straight up, I'm going to turn my hip and shoulder over. So we're going to be doing an air pivot now, trying to land in that roundhouse kick chamber position. Also, pay attention to the other foot. When you're doing that switch motion, try to get your foot so your toes are facing behind you. So I'm going to perform the switch, knee up, and go to that roundhouse kick chamber position. And then from here, let's just do the rest of the kick together. So kick, pull back, and down. Kick, pull back, down. Breakdown number 3 again. Switch. Switch, knee up, turn. kick, pull back down. Let's go ahead and move on to breakdown number 4, which only has 2 steps in it. So step number 1 for this breakdown, I'm going to pass through both of the switches. So each switch is 180 degrees. Now, I want to try to pass through both of those switches in the air, making a 360 degrees rotation, just like this. And then at the end of the rotation, I want to try to raise my knee up before I hit the ground. Okay, so that's going to be step number 1. I'm going to pass through both switches or perform that 360 rotation and raise my knee straight up at the end of the rotation there. So step 1, just like this. Turn over your rear shoulder. Try to land with your knee up, just like this. And then step number 2, we're going to finish the rest of the kick. So I'm going to turn, kick, pull back, and down. Stay on this progression as needed, making sure you keep your balance out of that rotation and you're able to spot your target. So step 1, 360 degree spin and knee up. Step number 2, turn, kick, pull back, and down. Next, let's go ahead and go over breakdown number 5, which only has 2 steps in it. This is going to be the final breakdown before the final version of the kick. So now, we're going to do that 360 degrees rotation, initiating our jump first, but now instead of raising our knees straight up at the end of the rotation, I want you to try to turn over your hips and shoulders after you raise that knee up and land in that roundhouse kick chamber position. So try your best to keep your balance on that landing. It's going to be a little difficult, but I'm going to do that 360, knee up, and then turn my hips and shoulders over to land in a roundhouse kick chamber position. That's going to be step number 1. Just like this. Then step number 2 will be the rest of the kick, kick, pull back, and down. Try your best to keep your balance. It is going to be difficult. 360 spin, knee up, and turn. Pay attention to that standing foot. Make sure that standing foot lands with toes behind you. Kick, pull back down. Next, let's go over a couple of tips to help you be a little more successful in this kick. So first, let's go over what your arms should be doing during this kick. So they should start in a nice fighting stance. I can twist the opposite direction. I'm going to be spinning in the kick first to help me build more rotation. And then I'll twist in the direction of the rotation. And I want to pull my arms in very suddenly after. So I'll twist and then pull my hands in. So I twist the opposite direction, twist the direction I want to spin, and then when I jump, that's when I want to pull my hands in, bring all my weight as close together as possible to help me rotate more smoothly. So it should look something like this. Twist opposite direction, twist in the direction I want to spin, and pull the hands in. And you can see that gives you a lot of rotation whenever you do it. All right, next, let's talk about what you should do with your legs. So in your fighting stance, as always, you should have your legs pretty loaded. So that means slightly squat down. That'll give you a little more springiness in the kick. So just squat down a little bit. You want to have those legs slightly bent before you initiate the kick. That will help you have a nicer jump in this kick. So start with your legs bent. Next, make sure you time your knee up at the correct time. So I do not want to raise my knee up too early and be rotating with it. Make sure you raise your knee up whenever you're facing forward. So go back to the respective breakdown if you need to. That's why that knee up step is after that second switch. All right? I want to raise my knee up as late as possible whenever I'm facing my target. So let's combine those things together we just previously talked about. My arms, I'm loading my legs, and knee up at the last second. Don't raise it up too early, okay? And then there's also too late, but the more common mistake I tend to see is that it's raised up a little too early, which can mess up your rotation and your jump. Next, posture and where your eyes should be looking. So I want to spot my target and then suddenly turn over my shoulder and spot my target again to help me rotate. And then make sure your posture is upright. Any lean in any direction is probably going to mess up your rotation. So make sure you stand as tall as you can, and when you're rotating, I want to keep that posture as upright as possible. Think about jumping vertically, all right? Not backwards, not forwards. You want to jump straight up, okay? And lastly, do not overturn. So timing your knee up properly and using all of the previous technique I just explained should help prevent you from overturning. But you should be able to stop at the front. If you're going through too much, that's an indicator that you may be rotating too much. So try to stop, be able to stop in that knee up. All right, control your spin, just like this. Do not overturn, or that's going to mess up your kick. Lastly, let's go over the final version of the kick. If you feel pretty comfortable with those previous breakdowns and you understand all of the tips that I just gave you to help you be more successful in this kick, it's time to just go for it. So try to perform the majority of the kick in the air, just like this. Jump first, do your rotation, kick, and then land very smoothly. And that's how you perform a Pop 360 roundhouse kick in Taekwondo. If you have any suggestions for what we should do a tutorial on next, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. This is Champions Taekwondo Academy. Thanks for watching.